Hello everyone, this is Alekhya, Assistant Professor in Cybersecurity Department in Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. So today our topic is on online scams. So how online scams are happening, so what are the examples, so how many types it is there. So let us discuss all these details today. So these are some types of online scams we can say, and these are the contents today we are going to discuss. First one, what are online scams? What is a difference between a scam and a spam? And these are some scams. So foreign country visit bait and follow up scamming. So what is scamming? Scamming is nothing but it includes all the attacks like through the internet. Through the internet, what will happen? Malicious content will go through that, or so many attacks will happen. So these are all come under this scamming. So it is nothing but a scam through the internet. And next one, purchasing goods and services. This is also another scam. And check cashing scam. Check cashing scam. So these are some scams today we are going to discuss. So first one, online scams. So what are online scams? So which are the scams that are going on through the internet? Through the internet is nothing but online scams. So it mainly present relieving information about old's most infamous scams. So let us say most of them are related, like for example you are having Nigerian scams. So they are also called as 419 scams. So they involve one or more forms of advance fee to lure the victim from the promise of long-term gain. So for the long-term gain, for the purpose of long-term gain, victims. So for the purpose of long-term gain, the users also willing to go through those scams. So what they have to do? They have to pay advance fee to lure the victim from they'll try to ask for the advance fee or huge amount for the long-term gain. So this is one of the Nigerian scams. And in a way, the spam and scam. So what is spam and what is scam? So they are all related because spam is often the vehicle used to convey scams. What is the spam? Spam is often the vehicle. So one of the intermediate or mediator used to convey scams and other attempted fraudulent attacks to individuals. So it will convey these scams to other attempted fraudulent attacks to individuals. And next one, hoax. So what is a hoax? So it involves deception. Like it is done without the intention or gain. So it is not done without the intention or gain or damage or for depriving the victim. Like to do something that will affect the victim. Sometimes the intention can be humorous. So without anything, they simply do this. Or without the knowledge also they can do, these scams will happen. And in this section, a number of scams examples we have provided. And we hear about scams that are reported occasionally in the news. So in the news itself, we will get some scams occasionally. And the majority of the recipients may not respond to these emails. So many who have the what going on through those emails, they will not respond to those emails. So, however, there are a few people who do respond to such mails or messages or calls. So, if they are like emails means, so like the people who have uneducated people or the old people who are not aware of the internet things. So those people might respond. Those people might respond as they are not having the complete knowledge what is happening in the internet. And from fraudsters' point of view, from the cyber criminals or the criminals' point of view, that is enough to make a fraud. So that is enough. Only from 100%, 1% people have responded. That is enough for them to make or as worthy as many millions of messages can be sent. So that is enough for them. And invariably, sum of money which look large, but they are very much smaller. So very much smaller than the promised profits. And they are all required in advance for bribes or fees, etc. So this is the money stolen from the victim. So if there is anyone asking advance money for bribes or fees within advance, so it is one of the money stolen from the victim. And it thinks like who thinks that he or she as making an investment for a huge profit or a long time profit, the victim will think like that. So we are making for the long time or a huge profit, so it will be beneficial for the future, like that the victim think. So but it is not like that. And a fraud. So what is a fraud? So fraud is a deliberate action. So it is one of the deliberate action conducted with the motive of personal gain or an act done to damage another individual. So it is one of the motive. So fraud is a deliberate action conducted with the intention, one of the intention of personal gain, like financial gain, either financial gain or like emotional gain, like that, or an act. So one of the act done to damage another individual. And the specific legal definition varies by legal jurisdiction. So it will be differentiate from one legal one legal law from another legal law. And this fraud is a crime and also a civil law violation. So what is a civil law violation? So the rules and regulations or the laws that are coming through the government. So the governance, what instructions it is giving, those has to be followed and those has to be done through anything. So if they have violated anything, that comes under this civil law violation. And doing fraud with people or entities like organizations, institutions like that for money or ill-gotten gains. So it is one of the common purpose of fraud. So it is one of the common purpose of fraud. So but there have also been fraudulent discoveries. So here like the cyber criminals, they cleverly exploit human characteristics. So they'll try to exploit the human characteristics like greed and dishonesty and victimize the individual from all walks of life. And advance free fraud is one of the classic example of this. So what is human characteristics? Like even though they are the criminals, they are having some greed and some dishonesty. So which makes them victims, like they want to make the individuals victims. They want to make others to suffer. So it is one of the intention of the fraudsters. And next one. So what is advance fee scam? Advance fee scam. So it usually begins with a letter, one letter to the person or an email that is sent only to a selected recipients. So only for set of some selected recipients only they are sending. But actually it is sent to many people, many persons. And in the email, an offer is made with a claim of large payoff for the victim. So in the last classes, we have discussed about the email spoofing. What it is? Email spoofing. So on this, we have done classes. We have seen what is case studies that are going through that. So what is happening through email spoofing? So email spoofing is like some person. So some person from some person is sending to B some messages that he will get some benefit for the organization, or he is having good position within his organization. So he has to come from his place to his original place to the organization's place. For that he has to pay some amount. So like that in the case studies also, like 10 lakh rupees has been lost because of that. Like that we have seen so many email spoofing instances. So like that also these advance fee scams will happen. So in the email, an offer will be made. So like we are having good position in our organization, or you are having good skills, so that why don't you come to our organization with a good, we'll give good payoff to you. Like this, so many offers will come through these emails, but we have to see. So is it a mail that is coming from the reputed organization, or in the original organization? So is it coming through legally? Every angle, every fees we have to make check, and we have to get a report like this. And often, so the subject of the line is emails have some catchy text like from the desk of Mr. Exam person, or your assistance is needed, like that. So the subject line of the email. So by seeing the subject line of the email, anyone could have some wish to see the message, so that they will open and get into the trap. So what they'll have from the desk of Mr. XYZ. So your assistance is needed. So you will have good payoff, or your position. You have you have selected, or you have shortlisted for some XY company. Like this, the subject line will be for the emails. So further, you have to check each and every check those emails. So we shouldn't go into those traps. And the details vary. The details might be vary, but the usual story is that a person, often government or a bank employee, knows of a large amount of unclaimed money or gold which he cannot access directly, and usually because of he has no right to it. But the spam emails, what are the spam emails here? They use it to perpetrate scams, are often transmitted from internet caves having satellite connection. So from where they will come? So from the public internet. So if you have connected to any public internets, like some internet caves, or in like some restaurants or some coffee shops where free Wi-Fi will have. So those are very dangerous, as they will take some access or some content, or they will leave some malicious content within our devices which we are using through the internet. So the spam emails, usually they came from the scams that are often transmitted from the internet caves having satellite connection. So those having the satellite connection, and these addresses and email content of a recipient, they are duplicated into a webmail interface on a standalone storage medium like memory card. And during the course of many schemes, so scammers look for victims to supply bank account information. So every time they will see for the sensitive information, the credential information like the bank account details, the name of the person, of the account holder, or the passwords, expiry dates. So everything they will try to gather. And typically this is a test devised by a scammer to gauge how gullible the victims will be, how cruel the victim, how unknowledgeable the victims will be. So this is about online scam. So let us discuss some scams that were used by the fraudsters. So how cruel they were. So scam number 1, foreign country visit bait. So this is a common trick used by the fraudsters. This is one of the common trick used by the fraudsters. So they take advantage of the fact that generally people are eager to go to overseas with the hope of earning more money. So with the hope of earning more money, so many people with the skills they are having, so they want to go to other states or other places to earn some more money. So here these fraudsters devising a plot using under such scenario would charm the victim through an invitation to visit the country. So they'll plot a scenario. So they'll plot a scenario such like a invitation to visit their country, and the named victims are invited to a country to meet real or fake government officials. Okay, and some victims who do travel are instead held for ransom. So there might be some ransom, and there are few rumors there are few rumor cases where they are illegally brought into the country without a visa and threatened into additional money as the penalties for being in a foreign country without a visa may be severe. So what they will do, they'll call them into their country or into their place without any legal authentication, like they without any visa or like that. They'll try to make them come to their place, and they make threaten into additional money or as the penalties. So they'll make penalties to them for being in a foreign country without a visa. So it is one of the case. We all know that without visa we shouldn't go to foreign country. So it is general thing, and like that those people who has came without visas, they has been given some additional penalties. So it is one of the foreign country visit baits. And next one, follow-up scamming. So follow-up scamming is so this trick is used when scammers know that their victim who has get scammed is more likely to fall for scamming attempts rather than a randomly selected target. So they will not completely target on one victim. They'll just throw some scammers on the victims. So on that who has without knowledge or without any skill on that, so they will get into the trap. So this trick is used when scammers know that their victim who has just been scammed is more likely to fall for scamming attempts rather than a randomly selected target. And next one, often the scammer contacts the victim after a fraud. So if the scammer contacts the victim after a fraud, the scammer is smart enough to make a representation as a law enforcement officer. So it is also happened in the past. So after any scam happens, so the scammer go to that victim so that he can help to that victim. Like that, he will go to that victim, this scammer. So where he himself representing. So he is one of the law enforcement officer. And here the victim is given to understand that a group of criminals has been arrested, and that they fraudsters who pretend to be law enforcement people, and they have recovered victims' lost money. And here further, fraudster or scammer. They tells the victim that in order to get money back, the victim may pay a fee for processing or for insurance purposes. So like that, they'll try to drag the money from the victims. And next one. So even when the victim realizes the scam, even after the victim realizes the scam, this follow-up scam can be successful. The follow-up scam can be successful because the scammer represents himself or herself as a totally different party and it knows the details about the transactions. So like that, he will make the victim believe. And for the victim realization that he or she has lost a large sum of money, and the prospect of getting it back often leads to victim ending up paying even more money to the same scammer. So he has done the scam, and again he has came as a legal representative, and for fees or for insurance fees or for knowing all the details, he has to pay even more amount of the same scammer. So these are some case studies that were happening even today. So it is mainly because of the not having complete knowledge over online scams. So what is scam is, what is email spoofing is, how the email scams are happening, what is what is online scams, how it is going on. So through internet, how it is going on. All these details cannot be known to everyone. And there are many variations on most common scam stories, and also many variations there on the way, many variations on the way the scam works. And next one, what follows in this section below are some of the most notable deviations from the standard Nigerian letter scam. So, but still remain the core elements. The victim is deceived by some disproportionality large gain into sending an advance payment which once is made irrecoverable. And next, scam number 3, purchasing goods and services scam. So what is purchasing goods and services scam? So advertising automobiles on websites has become quite common. So today if you want to purchase anything, automobiles or anything, first they will advertise on the internet, on the website. So which model has came, so which features they are adding to the normal model. So all these has to be, they have to advertise their product. So advertising automobiles on websites, they has become quite common. So for that matter, there is a big boom in online marketing. So online marketing activities, even if at times it may be the cost of your personal information being stored. So it might be the cost of the personal information that has been already sold. And in this type of scam, the scammers list a non-existing high value car. So what they will do, they will list one of them. They will list one of the highest value car, existent high value car with a low price as bait to attract buyers eager to buy quickly, especially the young and rich targets. So what they will do, the high prices products they will try to keep with low prices, where they will make the customers attract to the lowest prices, mainly for the young and the rich targets. And this scammer posts a message to the tune, I'm not in the country, but if you pay me first, a friend will drive your car to you. Like this, they will message you with that tune. So what they have done, so with huge amount of some product will be there. Not only car, some product will be there through online. Suppose from some 10 lakh rupees product, they have been kept for only 1 lakh. So who will not buy? Anyone will buy those products, those type of products, because it is very less in price when compared to the offline purchase. So they will definitely come. So further they will try to make it less. And further, if they want, these scammers, what they will do, they will post a message to the tune where I am not in the country, I am not in the place. So, but if you want to pay me the first, one of the friend will drive the car to you. So, one of the friend will drive the car to you, like that he will give or message. So, he will convey through that. So, he will not directly contact you, but he will convey through the telephone or emails like this. So, it is also going on through the online. And the required payment may be the full price or a deposit, but it would not be an insignificant fee. So like that he will make some instructions. So here normally the picture of the car is never posted on the website because the car just does not exist. The car which is coming to them, it will not be posted within the website. And in this type of scam, the scammers use emails only because they are smart enough to know that the sound of their voice and their attitude will give them away as being high risk. So based on they will prepare each and every point. So another scheme under this type of scheme involves advertising fake academic conferences and enticing academics to apply to present some papers. So it is also one of the scams. Even nowadays also it is happening. So what they will do, they will advertise fake academic conferences and enticing academics to apply to present papers. And as a common practice, the conference would typically subsidize the accommodation, but would not reimburse the cost of air journey undertaken by the academicians to be at the conference venue for the presenting papers. So it will not. So these attackers will do these advertising fake academic conferences, and one method using which the scammer baits the hopeful attendee is that they offer free air travel to the victim. So if they agree to prepay for the hotel accommodation, so if they have agreed for the they come to the free accommodation hotel accommodation, these fraudsters, what they will do, they will give free air travel. And these scammers, they can put forth a number of arguments to support why the accommodation must be prepaid. So why the accommodation must be prepaid. So preliminarily, so that they do not trust the victim will attend the conference unless he or she pays upfront. So if they have paid the hotel accommodations only, they will make they will think these fraudsters they will fix that these victims will come to the conference. And in this scam, these fraudsters, they may use any goods or services. The idea is that they bait the victim with a good deal. They have to bait the victim with a good deal. And the victim must pay upfront electronically. So they have to do this. So like that, these scams might happen. So purchasing goods and services through the online and conferences. They are advertising fake academic conferences through the online. So everything we have to check, is it coming from a legal source or not. And next one, scam number 4, check cashing scam. Check cashing scam. So it is also one of the online scams where it is very dangerous. And here, given the workforce mobility scenario, so from the workforce mobility scenario, worsening the traffic conditions and soaring property prices, working from home is become a common pattern now. So it is very common from working from home, some soaring the property prices like this. And some scam schemes, that are designed to exploit the workforce mobility scenario. And such schemes are based solely on connecting the victims into cashing their counterfeit check. And here the scammer gets in touch with the victims. They'll try to get touch with the victims and gets them interested in a work at home opportunity. So they'll try to, what they will do, the scammers get in touch with the victims. They'll try to contact the victims and gets them interested in a work at home opportunity. So they themselves give the opportunity to the victims. And here alternatively, the scammer may ask the victims to a cash or a check or any other money order under the pretext that the instrument. So like a check or money order, they cannot be redeemed locally. And according to a recently used cover story, the perpetrator of the scam wished that the victim to work as a mystery shopper, evaluating the service provided by MoneyGram or Western Union locations within major retailers such as Walmart. So this is one of the scam. And next one, typically this scammer sends the victim, this scammer sends the victim a check or a money order. The victim cashes it, sends the cash to the scammer via wire transfer. Through the wire transfer, they're sending the amount. And the scammer disappears. After the money has been received, the scammer disappears. Later, the forgery is uncovered and the bank transaction is reversed. So it was happened. And next one, this makes the victim liable for the balance. And defrauding plots based solely and on check cashing typically offers only a small part of the check's total amount. Only small part of the check's total amount with the assurance that many more checks will follow. And if the victim buys into the scam, and cashes all the checks, the scammer can win big in a very short period of time. So like this, scammers will happen. And there are other scams where overpayment is involved. So overpayment means within the less amount of time or before they have to pay, because if they have paid before itself, the future investment will be good. The scammer will make the victim think, and this usually result in smaller revenues. They may result in smaller revenues for the scammer, but they have a higher success rate as the scammer's request seems easier to believe. So how they will make very easier to believe. And some check cashing scammers, they use several victims at various stages of the scam. And a victim in the US. So one of the victim in the US or other safe countries such as UK or Canada is sometimes approached with an offer to fill out checks sent to them by the scammer. So checks sent to them by the scammer and mail to their victims who cash the check and wire the money to the scammer. So send the money to the scammer like this. And usually scammer promises a cut of money, some amount of money to the mailer of the check. So here the mailer of the check is also involved in the cases like this. And however, the promise is usually not meant. The promises are not usually meant, and the check mailer is often conned for paying for the production and shipping costs for the checks. And next one, the information about the check is either been stolen or by fictionalizing and the check is forged. So through the forged check, they will make these all online scams. And usually it is far easier to track the victim mailing the checks than tracking and processing the scammer. So what it is far easy, very easy to track the victim mailing the checks. Who is mailing the checks? We can track them. Then tracking and prosecuting investigating the scammer. And therefore, when the checks turn up as fraudulent, the person mailing them usually ends up not only facing charges for bank fraud and conspiracy, but also faces the liability for the full amount of the fraudulent checks. They have to bear the full amount of the fraudulent checks. And next one, as the mailer is taking the call, there is now a lesser likelihood that the scammer will be caught. So what they will do? This scammer will be in a safe place where he will keep the mailer above the victim. So if he is the victim, he will be the mailer and he is the scammer. So being caught those scammers is very difficult. Where we can caught the mailer has to be caught in by the jurisdiction. And a mailer of the normally what will happen? A mailer of the check is taking the call every time, and there is a lesser likelihood that the scammer will be caught. So where mailer is within the upfront, and this makes the popular variation of the scam. And especially in countries where anti-fraud laws are not very tough, so at those places it is very easy for them to make these scams. And next one, another variety of the check cashing schemes involves the owners of vacation rentals. So let us see that So the scammer shows interest in renting the unit for a much higher than the normal rate, and this usually for a upcoming like business trips, another some trips like this. And the scammer also offers to pay all fees upfront as soon as the unsuspecting unit over agrees to a windfall rental. So normally vacation places means where where they will go there and they'll pay for some rent for the time, for the short amount of time. So in the long run, very genuine looking money or a bearer check arrives. So around this time, the scammer makes the request. What they will do, he will make some request that part of the rental fee be returned and provides a convincing reason for it. So for example, like a wedding call off, or we are having death in the family, business failure, like some will happen. So giving the reason for the supported cases, scammer requests the victim to turn most of the rental fee via wire transfer. So here what happened, the owner of the unit is engaged to keep all the fair amount as a compensation for the time, for his time, and the wire transfer is not sent only to find out later that the official looking check was included in indeed bogus, and the full amount is charged back to the unit owner of his bank. So these are the some online scams that were happening. So not only this, we are having so many online scams through the social engineering attacks. We are having online scams. So through black marketing, it is happening. So many scams like this. Not only this, through goods and services which they are making unavailable for the customers. There are also some online scams or making some costly products for lower prices and making unavailable for the customers is also one of the frauds that are happening. So these are the references that were taken.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.